This is Tim McCall with CTV News here in Laramie, Wyoming, Sports Authority Field at Mile High Stadium. We're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Thanks for tuning in to CTV Sports. I'm Sydney Wicker.
Hello sports fans and welcome back. I am Tim McCall and I am joined here by Sydney Wicker. It was a big weekend for CSU Sports, a weekend which featured yet another break in the CSU men's basketball coaching situation. Later on in the show, I will be joined by former Collegiate sports editor Justin Michael to learn the latest on that situation. But first, let's take a look at what else happened this weekend.
The CSU men's hockey team had a doubleheader this weekend where they lost on the road on Friday at Boulder and at home on Saturday against Boulder as well. It was a great start to the game on Saturday as number 29 Austin Ansey was quick to score the first goal of the game for Colorado State in the first 2 minutes of the first period. After that, Boulder was quick to answer back. In the first period, CU answered by scoring 2 goals. At the end of the second period, the Buffs were up 5-1. Although the Rams were held off the scoreboard in the second period, they were able to get back on the slate in the third and final period. In the final minutes, number 15 Liam Miller got the Rams their second and final goal of the night. The final score of the game was 6-2, the Buffs over the Rams. After the game, I was able to speak with senior goalie Dax Diedrich about senior night and what it meant for him and his family. I'm here joined alongside Dax Diedrich, who is the goalie for the CU Rams. Can you just talk about this game tonight? I mean, it was senior night for you guys, but this loss is like really sad. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, it's a tough one for the seniors, but we just kind of treat it like every game. It's just happened to have a little bit of an unfortunate ending, but we're happy to be here. 3-4 years, whatever may have you, but it was a pretty special experience with everyone coming out and supporting. So it was pretty special.
What did senior night mean to you? I did talk to your mom a little bit before we came in here, and she seemed really happy for you. Can you just talk about what senior night means to you and what your family atmosphere means to you? Yeah,
it's I could probably speak for everyone here. The 5 guys we have, but it was special. It's something that never happens again. In your lifetime, and it was nice to have family come down and. Some of them even see a hockey game before, that never watched me play through college. So, it was pretty special, and I was happy to be a part of it.
Dax's mother was also in attendance and spoke to me about what senior night meant to her. Tiffany, can you talk about what this night meant for you and your family?
It was very good. It was Dax's last night. He's been playing for 14 years, and it's very emotional for him and me, but we're very, very proud of him and excited for his future and what's yet to come.
Dax said you had quite a few family members come from other places. Where all did they travel from for this game today?
They came from South Dakota and some that live about 2 hours away. And then last weekend they were here and they went all the way. They traveled like 5-7 hours away to get here.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you tell me about what this night meant for you personally?
I'm just really proud of him. It's a great accomplishment. I'm sorry. I'm just excited for him, and it was a big night, and I'm just excited for his future. He's come a long way, worked really hard, and he deserves this.
Finally, after the game, I was also able to speak with head coach Jeff DeGree and how he looks to finish off the season. It's a sad loss for you guys. How do you look to improve from this?
Well, we're a young team, so they're going to graduate. CU's going to graduate 12 players next year, or this year rather. So they got an age advantage and an experience advantage over us. So it was a great atmosphere in the building. It was really fun for our kids to play. And like I said, we're a young team, so we're learning. And I thought we competed hard. They're a real skilled team too. So we make mistakes. They end up in the back of our net, which is unfortunate. But it was a great night for us. I thought it was great for our program. Like I said, the atmosphere was awesome. So.
Let's talk about that crowd tonight. They were fired up and ready. How did that make you guys feel?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Like, I could just tell our guys, and we got the first goal too, which was awesome. And yeah, I thought our energy was great all night, and a lot of that was just because there was so much energy in the building.
You guys had 6 seniors graduate tonight. Tonight was their last home game. How do you look to improve and continue on with this program with losing them?
Well, it's not the first time that's happened. Obviously, we lost a lot of guys last year too. So, yeah, the guys, I talked to our guys after the game, and the guys were losing our special guys. Like, they've been a lot to our program, and they've been great examples to our younger guys. So, but I also told our younger guys, like, hey, the building was great tonight. There's a lot of potential here. And now it's their turn to kind of step up and take some ownership of where we go from here. So,
what would you say was the biggest deficit in tonight's game?
Well, like I said, they're a very deep team. Like, they come at you. They're very fast, very skilled. All 4 of their lines can roll. So, I think they basically just kind of wore us down. Like, they're just a little faster and a little stronger than we are, a little older, a little more experienced, and I think they just kind of wore us down.
All right, with just a couple games left in the season, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, yeah, we've got it's funny you mentioned looking forward to, because we're going up to North Dakota for 3 days in February, which I don't know. It's hard to say that you're looking forward to that, because I have not had a lot of great experiences in Minot in February. But yeah, it'll be our last 3 games together, our last chance to be together as a group. And like you said, we got six guys we're saying goodbye to. So it'll be a fun time for us to be together. Obviously, we're not going to be playing in the national tournament, which was our goal, which is disappointing. But by the other token, we'll be able to spend some time and just have fun together. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking. The final score for the game was 6-2, and as Coach DeGree said, the Rams will head to North Dakota for their final game to take on Jamestown. In track and field, over the weekend, the Rams raced to Albuquerque, New Mexico for the John Kirby Invitational and to Seattle, Washington for the Husky Invitational. At the Invitational, junior Cole Rockhold took the CSU record for the fastest 3,000 meter, where he had a time of 7 minutes and 50 seconds, which also became his new personal best. Overall, Rockhold finished 3rd. For senior Mostafasa Hussain has remained undefeated in the shot put for this year's indoor season by winning the event with a mark of 64.25, which is just short of his personal best earlier this season. I was able to sit down with senior Austin Blejo to talk about track and how this season has been going for him. How did you get started in track? Kind of give me like a background of how track all began for you.
So it started in about 7th grade, and it was one of those, in elementary school we did it, we had the elementary school like track meet for the whole district, and it was a 1-year thing, so it was kind of, we would just show up randomly and just pick up this little metal ball and throw it, and I've always been a big kid, so it always appealed to me. And so then finally middle school, when they were like, yeah, you can do this, like we have a track season and you could throw the metal ball like every day for a little bit if you want. And so I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. So me and my brother did that. And then, 8th grade rolled around and we did it again and loved it. So then we got to high school, and our throws coach was really good there. She was an All-American here at Colorado State and was a stud in the discus for us. So then she really got us plugged in and was like, I think you guys have something here. So it kind of just grew from that, and every year just kind of got a little better. And then since she was here, kind of had the connection here with Coach Bedard here, and kind of plugged in and got to do it here at the next level. So
that's really awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
What does this sport mean to you personally?
It means a lot to me in the sense I feel like a lot of who I am today has come from lessons I've learned here on the track, as well as in terms of time management and things like that. As being a Division I student athlete requires a lot of balance and things like that. So for me, I feel like those are things that, I've learned a lot, in the classroom, but I just feel like there's a lot of lessons that I just wouldn't have learned anywhere else but here.
What keeps your drive going for this sport? Because I know it can do a lot to you. So
yeah.
What keeps the momentum going?
The idea of bringing home a conference title, and the idea that, there's really a proud tradition of the throwers here at CSU, both from walk-ons to All-Americans, walk-ons to conference champions, because that's what I am here as a walk-on. And so the idea to kind of be a part of that and be a part of something special here. We won the indoor conference title last year on the guys' side, so that's something that we really, it felt really good. And, once you win it, anything else other than that just feels like coming up short. So especially with it being my last year, I feel like I really want to go out on top, and be a part of that again. So.
Well, awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What are you looking forward to getting out of this season, especially compared to last season?
What I'm trying to get out of it is just kind of doing some things we've never done before. I guess we've won titles in the past, but obviously bringing home another one would be really awesome. With it being the last year, just kind of to just relax, and just having fun with it, knowing that, it is a lot of work, and it is a grind every now and then, but, it's one of those, from back when it was fun in elementary school, it's like we all do this because we love it, so it's really tapping into that and no regrets.
Awesome. What are some of your team goals as a whole for all of you guys?
Team goals, obviously, is bringing home the conference titles. We have a lot of All-Americans, both in the cross-country side, and we have a national champion in the shot put here, and he's a stud. So we have a lot of goals in terms of how we want to rank nationally. We started off in the top 10, so we'd love to finish in the top 10. As well as academically, we're always trying to get it done in the classroom, and we always usually have the goal of about a 3.2 team GPA. So we came up a little short in the fall, so we're excited to really try to hit the books hard this spring and get that back up.
How do you look to continue to advance this season? Because you're already off to a great start, so how do you look to finish it off?
The way I do that is I just kind of figure just keep doing what I'm doing, and our coach always tells us, you can't do the same stuff and expect different results. So ever since, I kind of figured each year, kind of just keep upping it, and so I did that again this year and kind of upping the ante a little bit. And there's a lot of times, because I overthink things a lot, it's a lot of mental games for me. And so it's one of those, every now and then, I have a good meet or a good practice and I'm kind of thinking what I did, and sometimes I just tell myself, I don't really know what I did, but I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to keep going and trust the process and have fun along the way.
Great. I know before this we talked a little bit about the new track that's being built. Can you talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
so we're getting a new track. Hoping it'll be done by the end of the school year. We're really excited. We're really thankful because I know we were ready for a new track. And right now it's at the stage where a lot of the concrete is laid and ready to go. We just need 2 weeks of above freezing weather to finally lay down an actual track surface, because obviously it's a high quality surface and we want to do it right. So we'd love to lay it down now, but we know it's not going to stick or anything like that. So we're all hoping with our fingers crossed we can get that down hopefully in time before mid-May, before conference, that we can get a meet on there and have something to show people hopefully.
Awesome. Well, that is all I have for you, but thank you so much for meeting with me.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Over the weekend, Blaho traveled down to Albuquerque and was able to increase his throwing record. He threw a 57-6, which beat his record from the Colorado Invitational last weekend. We can look to see more from the Rams on the racetrack at the Rocky Mountain Invitational in Wyoming on Friday, and they will look to finish off their season the following week as they compete in the Mountain West Indoor Track and Field Championship. In basketball news, the cold weather this weekend did not stop the Lady Rams from traveling to San Jose to battle a Mountain West competitor, San Jose State. From the beginning, the Rams took control of the game. At half, they were leading 38-24. Hannah Traverti was shooting 10 for 16 and was able to score 22 points, making her third game this season of having 20 or more points. Right behind her, junior Sophia Tygeson had scored her first career double-double by scoring 11 points and having 11 rebounds. The Rams were able to finish out the night by ending the game 73-66. The Rams are now ranked third in the Mountain West and will take on another Mountain West contender, Fresno State, on Saturday in Moby at 2.
As we mentioned earlier, it was a big weekend for the CSU men's basketball team. The university announced just hours before their Saturday game against San Jose State that interim head coach Steve Barnes would be placed under administrative leave. Barnes had been filling in for head coach Larry Eustace, who was suspended by the university earlier this month amidst a climate assessment of the program that is being conducted by the university. Assistant coach Jace Hurl took over and coached the Rams on Saturday. CTV basketball reporter Brian Buck was at the game to witness Hurl's first attempt at coaching the Rams.
The Rams tipped off Saturday afternoon against San Jose State. Starting off with the ball, Prentice Nixon takes the ball down the court, goes to Che, then down to Nico Carvacho eventually, who will get the first 2 points for the Rams, who actually never trailed in this basketball game. The Big Chili will get an and one here, put the Rams up 2-0 after a missed free throw. Ryan Wallach here on the inside. Part of his team high 15 points in the first half. Anthony Bonner here with the big three. The Rams made 11 threes in this basketball game on their way to a victory. Nico Carvacho again, even he got a three for the big man. And Anthony Bonner here will get one more off the Prentice Nixon assist. The Rams were hot from three-point range tonight. Again, 11 made threes for this Rams basketball team. But Ryan Wallach, again, 15 points in the first half. He makes a 3 there, keeping San Jose State close. Robbie Berwick, who had 8 points, getting 2 there driving down the lane. Che Bob, who had 6 for the Rams, gets 1 down the lane clean as well. Prentice Nixon here in his first game back as a starter for the Rams with the clean turnaround deuce. Keith Frazier here for San Jose State. He had a team-high 23 points on that big slam, but San Jose's Achilles in this game was 23 points allowed off of turnovers. Frazier turns it over there. Quan takes it down to Nico for the assist. He'll get 2 there of his team-high 26 points. He also contributed 20 rebounds in the basketball game, like this clean one here. The game was highlighted by a couple excellent shots. Anthony Bonner there, part of his 5 of 8 from three-point range. And the big one, Juan Sabino, the walk-on bench player, nailing a jumper late with just a minute to go in the basketball game. Here at the end, Nico Carvaccio and interim coach Jace Hurl sharing an embrace.
Thank you to Brian Buck, CTV's reporter, who was at that game getting that footage. Later, I will be joined by former collegiate sports editor Justin Michael to discuss the latest in the CSU men's basketball coaching situation.
In the world of sports, all the focus is on South Korea, where the Winter Olympics kicked off this year's event on Friday after the opening ceremony. Events like bobsledding, figure skating, snowboarding, and skiing have all begun. 22 Colorado natives will be representing Colorado this year in a multitude of events. The U.S. currently holds 4 medals, trailing Norway, the Netherlands, Germany, and Canada. The Olympics will continue to go on until Monday, February 25th. That's all I have for you right now, but don't go anywhere, because when we get back from break, former collegiate sports editor Justin Michael will join us on the show for the latest on the CSU men's coaching basketball situation.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
I am joined now by former collegiate sports editor Justin Michael, the very man who originally broke the story on Larry Eustace just a couple weeks ago. Now, the coaching situation here at Colorado State for the men's basketball team took another weird turn this weekend. As we mentioned last week on our show, assistant coach Steve Barnes had been named the interim coach for the CSU men's basketball team to replace Larry Eustace, who was placed under administrative leave during a climate assessment being done by the university. Well, this weekend, that coach, Steve Barnes, was also placed on administrative leave by the university just moments before their game on Saturday against San Jose State. Now, to fill in for him, Jace Hurl, who was an assistant coach for the Rams, stepped up. Justin, what can you tell me about the situation? This is such an odd event that happened here in Fort Collins. What info do you have on it?
Yeah, it was definitely a unique situation where you had the, previously named interim coach being told you're being placed on administrative leave within 6 hours of tip-off of a game. The crazier thing is that it's not even the first time that this has happened. When Larry Eustace was ultimately placed on administrative leave nearly 2 weeks ago, he was told on the same day that CSU played Nevada, about 6 hours before they tipped off. So it's just been a chaotic couple of weeks up here in Fort Collins.
Now, with Barnes being stepping down for the time being, and Jace Hurl stepping up. Jace Hurl's only this is only his second year with CSU. He's a young guy. What can you tell me about him? Yeah,
Jace is definitely a young guy. He's only 30 years old. It's his second season as an assistant at CSU. Prior to this, he spent 2 years as an assistant at South Plains, which is one of the most prominent junior college programs in the nation. He actually coached current CSU forward Shea Bob at South Plains. Before that, he was the first ever head coach at Northwestern Technical College, which is another junior college based out of Goodland, Kansas. There, he actually had a ton of success despite being a first-time program. He won 56 games in 3 years. I believe he posted a 32-5 record at home. And he coached former CSU superstar and 2017 Mountain West Player of the Year, Gian Clavel.
All right. Now, we had mentioned that it was just hours before the game that this team found out about this, and they were able to go out and they played well. What was it like, based on the reporting that you've done, for these players to go through that change such a short time period before their game started?
Yeah, it's definitely a unique situation, one where the players seem to handle it pretty well. Obviously, they were able to rally and get a victory over San Jose State, albeit they're a last-place team, one of the least efficient offensive units in the country. But they kind of handled this well, as we've mentioned multiple times tonight and last week. This is a team that's been sprung into chaos on multiple occasions, so it wasn't necessarily anything new. What also helped is, Jace is an extremely likable coach. He's a guy who has great relationships within that locker room. He's a guy who, for the better half of the last 2 years, has kind of been there when some of the other previous coaches maybe were a little bit more in your face. Jace was there, had their back. So I think that definitely played a factor in how they were able to respond and ultimately get that victory. Now, the coaching change at CSU for the men's basketball team seems to be becoming almost a running joke. That every week there's a new coach. What can you tell me? Is Jace Hurl going to be here for the long haul, or is he just another interim guy for the moment? What do you know? Well, today actually he was officially named the interim coach for at least the foreseeable future. Obviously, Steve Barnes was probably named the interim coach for the foreseeable future at one point, but CSU was not willing to actually state that Jace Hurl would be the coach moving forward on Saturday. They were willing to admit that today, so it appears like he's going to get a shot that most young coaches don't really get in this game. Yeah, it's going to be cool to watch. And as you mentioned, the young guys seem to respond to him. Brian Buck, our CTV basketball reporter, was able to film some of the press conference after the game and hear from the players as well as Coach Hurl himself. Let's see what they had to say after the game.
We play for each other. That's what it's all about. Coach Jace did a heck of a job, game planning with us. He's just for us. He's a we have a really good relationship off the court with him. I think all of us do, and it just helps on the court. We just went out there and we played for him, and he coached for us, and just had some fun.
Jace and Willie did a good job of telling us just focus on the game. We just want you guys to have fun.
We're there to support these guys, and that's what this is about, is those guys winning the games. You go out there because you get to play with your friends and you get to have fun. So that's what we wanted it to be, and I don't need them looking at me asking what's next. They know what's next. They can go out there and do that.
I think our conference record doesn't show how good we can be.
I think we're going to shock some people these next few games.
Now, there you go. You see, the players seem pretty confident with Jace Hurl as their head coach. So, Justin, let me ask you, what does this mean for Larry Eustace going forward as the head coach of the CSU Rams men's basketball team? While there are no guarantees in this game and in any type of investigation, it could obviously change, as many things have popped up over the last 2 weeks that have caught us by surprise. But at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that Colorado State is preparing to move on from Larry Eustace. He's a guy who led them to one NCAA tournament appearance, second place finish in the conference last year. But it appears that CSU just kind of feels he's not worth the headache anymore. Now, as far as basketball, that's all we have for right now. But while we have you on the show here, Justin, you do have some cool news that you'd like to share, and a special thanks to the CSU community that we'd like to share. So go ahead, the floor is yours. Yeah, I'd just like to give a special thanks to the 25-plus donors who contributed various amounts of money and have provided an opportunity for me to travel to Las Vegas for the Mountain West basketball tournament. I am extremely humbled by the generosity that's been displayed by this community, and just truly from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you guys. There you go, Justin. For those of you who don't know, Justin had to, for personal reasons and time conflictions, had to leave the Collegian just last year, and he's doing just as much work as he was doing last year. He just doesn't have the official title. So it just goes to show you what a great community we have here in Fort Collins, rallying together around a guy. So Justin, congratulations, and I'll be with you in Las Vegas to report on that Mountain West Conference championship game and the whole tournament.
Yeah,
come the first week in March. I can't wait. So that's all the time we have for tonight, but we will be back next week. Have a great rest of your night, Rams.